You're listening to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast.
This makes my nipples hard.
Look behind you, it's a three-headed monkey.
Is that just a soundbite?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I felt the need to say it at that moment.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, we could also be started now if you want to. You know, like, welcome. That was our intro. You know you saw the thumbnail and the title, and Anna said the cute thing, and now we're in.
Right, yeah, and this is an episode about a game that we've been not really meaning to talk about at all, initially, actually, ever, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. It was a pact we made. We're like, we're never going to talk about Monkey Island because everybody talks about Monkey Island, and peer pressure got the best of us. Now we're everybody. We used to
all of a sudden. We used to be nobody, and now we're everybody. But we're still nobody. It's okay.
So, because you guys asked for it, you're like, we want the most disorganized, chaotic review of Monkey Island possible. We're the only ones that could bring that to you. So that's
right.
That's what's going on. My initial thoughts to start with this was to say to you guys, I forgot to form an opinion on this. So that's how this is going to go. We're just going to walk through the woods together and stumble across our feelings together.
That's a good way to do a game like this.
It is. I can't believe we started the episode like that. We were like, we're going to try extra hard because there might be more listens on this one. And that was an interesting take on trying extra hard, I guess.
I don't know if we actually have a try extra hard other than like saying those words. I think we're just like, and now it's Anna and Paul. Or Paul and Anna. Right. I haven't really decided. You know, most like two name groupings, you can tell which one goes first and which one goes second because it has that fluidity of like the sound. But
yeah, I blame my name for that. I feel like I don't have a name. I have like a sound effect, like just a sound that's heard. Paul, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound like a name. It sounds like and it rhymes with too much. Look, for the one or two other Pauls maybe listening, you feel the pain. It's all, ball, call, fall, doll, mall. It rhymes with too many things. So like you're constantly in public looking out for, you know, who said your name, and nobody ever did.
I never thought about that. I was just like, it's so easy to write poems for you on your birthday.
Okay. So we're doing Monkey Island. We're doing it, man. We're doing it for the fifth time. I'm panicking. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna walk you through this as if you've never played it, which is crazy. If you haven't played this and you're listening to this show, please tell us, even if it's discreetly. I would love to know. Because please let us know. But we did this with Thimbleweed Park, and we tried to model that Thimbleweed episode because we felt on during that episode. Like, this is the way forward with game things, where we're going to walk you through it. We've already marked out events throughout all four of the 4 acts of the game. There's a lot of 4s, and let's just do it that way. Okay, quick background, Anna. When did you first play Monkey Island? What was it like? And how does it differ to how you just played it for this episode? Go.
Right. That's the question I'm always so excited to get to. But the first time I ever played it was included on the LucasArts Archive Volume 3. That has never gotten easier to say. And it came with the Monkey Island Madness CD, but it had the VGA version of the game. And it had, I think, some samples. It had Monkey Island 2 on it, the full game, and a demo of Curse of Monkey Island. So it was the whole package. That was my introduction to the series. So that I played when I was an older teenager.
It sounds like madness.
Madness.
Yeah.
Absolute madness.
I'm sorry for that. And I ruined your momentum. It was not worth it. Continue.
No, I didn't have any. It's okay. And then, this time for a change, because I didn't even know that I had played a specific version of it when I first got it. It was just, here's the game. It's on a CD. Do you want to play it? So I'm like, okay, there's an EGA version, and I'm really into like sunsets and gradients and all that kind of stuff. So, and I love the EGA. So that's the version I played this time.
Got it. Okay, cool. And yeah, I'm a little jealous because you called dibs on that first. No, I'm not because it worked out perfectly because I ended up playing the VGA version, but I played the Ultimate Talkie Edition version because I played it with my kid. And I'll be forcing Strummer on you guys throughout the episode because it is really hear me out, all right? Hear me out. Nobody likes a shoehorned in child. I get it, but he brings an interesting perspective because he has no knowledge or bias or anything, especially when it comes to nostalgia. He doesn't. I'm not even sure he truly grasps how fucking old these games are. Like it's just such a normal part of his life. Like we have a Monkey Island 2 poster in our living room, for example. It's everywhere in his life. So I'm not sure he really grasps. Yeah, much of anything because he's a kid. But point being is that it was fun getting his perspective on certain things because he's not running it through all these, I don't know, equations and filters that we are as obsessive adventure game people. Like, how does it compare to modern games, and does it hold up, and puzzle this, and just all the BS that we talk about on this show. He is immune for it. You know, it's just like this pure experience. So anyway, Anna played the VGA version. I played the VGA Ultimate Talkie Edition version. I don't know if anybody out there doesn't know about the Ultimate Talkie Edition by this point, especially if you're like in our Facebook group. But for the one or two of you, for the hey wait up guys in the crowd, there's a I love that the idea of the hey wait up guy. There's an Ultimate Talkie Edition by Logic Deluxe. It was released in 2010, and basically it's you take your version of the remastered Monkey Island, Secret of Monkey Island Remastered, and your copy of the VGA version of the game, and you download their little thing, and it does a little bunch of magical stuff, and it spits out the Ultimate Talkie Edition, which puts the Talkie Edition over the original VGA version. And considering, we'll get into this in the episode, but considering how, I would say, flawless the voice acting is in this game, like there is no weak link, I don't think, in the entire game, that I think it's probably the ultimate way to play the game, because the voice acting is truly an enhancement. So yeah, okay, so with that said...
That's not the first version you ever played.
Correct, the first version I played was the EGA, yeah.
Right, yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think as a child. I used to say on this show that I didn't think I played it as a kid, but some recent old memories have come to mind. And I think I remember playing it. I definitely remember having the boxes and stuff and being infatuated with the Chuck's Revenge box. But anyway. So yeah, we're coming at you with slightly different perspectives. You've played the EGA, I've played the VGA, and I've thought about that too as I was playing the art and stuff, which we can get into. But to get momentum moving forward through the game, let's start with Act 1, the 3 trials. And the first little event here that I've got is just arriving on Melee Island, which is maybe a nothing point. I don't know what to say about that. Okay, here's what to say about that. It's an extremely efficient intro. He's just like, "Hi, I'm Guyver Streetwood, and I want to be a pirate." And you're like, "Got it. Okay, I know, I know what I'm doing. I know who I am and what my goal is." And not even joking, right? It's like an incredibly efficient way to be like, "Here's your deal." Even in the way especially with the voice acting, even in the way that Dominic Armato voices him, you're just like, okay, I'm plucky, I'm full of life, nobody's crushed my hope with cynicism yet, I want to be a pirate. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful game to step into. You know exactly what to do. There's some buildings, there's a bar. Let's walk into the bar. Yeah, I always kept thinking that there was more you could do with the dog. Every time I played, I remember that too the first time. Like, I want to take its bone. I keep trying to give it pieces of meat. It's like, fine, keep your bone, background dog.
Right, background dog. Yes, it is a really streamlined experience for sure. There was a lot of moments like that I had playing it, especially with Strum and his like childlike wonder. And wandering and stuff like that, but that errs on the critique side of things. So we'll circle back there. I'm gonna be nice to it first because I really, we had a much better of a time than certainly than a negative one. I mean, how do you not like Monkey Island? Honestly, I think if you don't like Monkey Island, you're just saying it to sound edgy, or how we would do it like 13 years old to be like, I don't like the popular thing. It's like okay, settle down. But it's
fun. It's laugh out loud good. I mean, it is surprisingly rewarding with some of the puzzles. I had a blast. Whatever my critiques may be, I had a blast, and I loved the little twists and things.
Anna was messaging me throughout her playthrough of the first act, at least let's say, and you were giddy.
It was good. There was a few
Brimming-
that really caught me off guard.
Brimming with excitement. You were just like,
Brimming,
you were like, I am
literally.
having so much fun. And I was relieved because I feel like it's the most fun you've had in a LucasArts game, at least in recent memory.
Yeah, it didn't have any like arcade sequences that annoyed me. I liked that the arcade sequences were essentially battling with the pirates and learning the keywords and things. I liked that. I liked writing them down, matching what went with what, rediscovering the game because it's been such a long time. I loved it when in the very beginning when you went into the governor's mansion and it took the game away from you the first time.
Right.
Like that fourth wall, like the way it would break the fourth wall, like you're in love and then love is on your face and then it would show like love on his face. Like these little things in the game. I thought they were just lovely touches that really, they make you laugh. You're like, I can't believe the game is doing that.
Yeah, exactly. They were constantly taking you by surprise, even if you remembered it. All right, let's move more through the story. So we meet the pirate leaders after the bone dog that Anna was referring to a second ago, and that was definitely fun because you walk in there and it's like this lively, energetic, really wakes you up. You're like, okay, cool. This is like a bustling little town with life, and you want to get to know the characters, and you talk to the loom guy. And I remember, like, Strum and I were playing this next to a bunch of boxes, and like I grabbed the loom box and shoved it in his face, like, see, you get it, and he was just, disgusted entirely, like wildly unimpressed actually. But it's okay. He comes around. He comes good later in the gameplay. You'll see. You'll all see. So yeah, you go talk to the three pirates. You get your mission, right? That you gotta beat the Swordmaster. You gotta steal something, and whatever the third one was, I kind of forgot. Actually, that wasn't clear to me. Strum kept asking me what was left, like itinerary wise, like where are we at? What do we have to do left? And all throughout gameplay, I don't think I was ever clear what all three exact trials were, which is probably a very frustrating thing to listeners right now to be like, wow, guys. This is why we asked you not to touch Monkey Island.
Yeah, because you have to get the fabulous idol, and
Yep.
you have to be able to sword fight, right? You have to beat the sword master of Melee Island.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
but what's the third one, right? Sorry, I don't mean to bring you down with me, but I just did because I don't think either of us know what the fuck the third one was. I
knew when I played it because I did it.
That's fair. I knew when I played it. Look, we did beat the game, you guys. Okay, so, like. I say that with the same spirit that's like me having a kid proves I've kissed a girl once. So,
Yeah, at least once.
yeah, I don't remember because I thought it was steal something and get the idol, but those two I think were the same. Look, doesn't matter. There's three trials. We did them. Just get off our back about it, okay?
That's the way to make the fans happy.
Yeah, really pressuring us to tell you what you're supposed to do in this game, but the reason I'm also wondering is because I almost feel like that gets dropped by the game too, and maybe they did as like a joke.
You have to find the treasure of Melee Island. You have to get the T-shirt.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, the treasure of Melee Island is when you dig up the T-shirt after you follow the map directions.
Wow. Okay, so that's the third trial: is get the treasure, and it's the T-shirt, which I don't think I even really realized. Even though you dig where X marks the spots, and it's in a treasure chest.
Right. It's just a T-shirt, and it's hard to tell because there's a few T-shirts and a few pamphlets and a few it's an inventory heavy game.
It is. It's self-aware, I guess you'd say, because I know at one point Guybrush says, "Oh, good, more inventory." When you later in the game, when you get the ghost tools, he says that. Mm-hmm. That's how the listeners know I just played the game. Actually, recalling that crap. And then I also think there's a little self-awareness with the recipe to get to Monkey Island. It's basically just offloading all of your inventory. Mm-hmm. Or you just take, everything that you need to make the recipe to get to Monkey Island is everything you're carrying, which really worked out nice design-wise because then you get to start the next act like free from all that, baggage.
Yeah, that's actually a good point because you're not supposed to have a lot of baggage after you cannonball onto an island anyways.
Right, it could potentially scatter everywhere.
Which is, oh man, I was so disappointed when I set off the fuse on the cannon and I'm like, I keep forgetting it's not a Sierra game. I'm like, oh no, is that an unwinnable state? I didn't have time to put on my helmet. There was a few times where I was just like, you get that panic moment to make more than one save file.
Dude, totally. There's so many, you could see everywhere in the game that Sierra would have screwed you, like with the the grog mugs, where they just they just put the mugs back for you. Like you can just try you can just try that again, no big deal. Or not Herman, the other old guy in the shop owner. Like when he goes off and I didn't realize, I didn't remember. Let's say that you had to memorize the safe code or write it down, and it's like you can just do it all over again.
His name is Storekeeper, I think.
It might be Otis. No, that might be the guy in jail.
I think his name is literally the Storekeeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like legally speaking, so it's
legally on paper on his birth certificate that his mama made him with.
It would be Storekeeper, the.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so do you remember which challenge you did first? Was it the sword fighting?
Hang on. Yeah, probably. I mean, what did I do first? It was the sword fighting.
Yeah,
I went through, I did sword fighting. I started the thing with the idol first, but I didn't finish it till after I went back. So I started the whole thing with him and then had to go off and do the sword fighting so that I would be able to unlock the ability to finish freeing the idol from the governor's mansion to uncover nefarious plots within.
Right. Yeah, you get the impression that old Shinetop is going to be the villain before that's confirmed.
All of a sudden, he's got that villainous look. I mean, he's hiding out in dark alleys, and you're like, well, I guess the cops are supposed to be in a dark alley. That's where the bad guys would be.
Yeah, and something that fiction does us dirty is that the villain is almost always bald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. We have it hard enough, guys. Like,
it's not fair.
It's not fair. I'm not sure what started it. Like, I don't know if that's what gives the menacing impression, or if it's been ingrained like deeply into our storytelling for 40 years that now we associate it. Like, I don't know which came first. It's a chicken and egg thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just bailed on a correlation joke there with eggs and bald heads, but whatever. Point being is that, you see the bald guy and he's like follows you into a dark alley. It's like, that's probably the bad guy. Yeah. Anyway, the sword fighting. Do you have, what are your, we've never talked about insult. This is everybody's jam.
It's, I'm glad to hear you attended your family reunion.
I don't know.
I don't know the response to that either. I just wanted to throw one at you to see if you could catch it.
That might even be the follow-up to it.
I just wanted to make you feel comfortable there. No, that's
right.
That's not the one. I'm just messing with you.
I do have a fact for this, that they were written by Orson Scott Card.
Oh, cool.
Which, without the middle name, his name is Orson Card, which is underwhelming. But then Orson Scott Card, that sounds like somebody.
Prestigious.
But he's somebody. He really is. He wrote something of significance at some point. Mm-hmm. So these are the facts that you guys tuned in for. Dang it, I didn't write that part down. I really thought I did. Because Ron Gilbert took a lot of inspiration from was it Treasure Island? And I'm just like panicking trying to rush through my notes right now because I did write this down somewhere. And I think Orson Scott Card wrote some of the stuff that he was, using as a reference or whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's not, oh my God, really? Yeah. That wasn't even the full word, yeah. That was just like, yeah, sure, no, it's to get that Canadian polite bullshit out of here.
I was reading your notes at the same time, so I might have missed what you were saying.
Like, oh, no, we're good. Now that I know you weren't listening, I feel even better. That's fantastic.
They're supposed to be listening. It wasn't in my job description.
That's entirely fair. Yeah. Okay, well, look, this dude, he's won Hugo Awards. Luckily, all of that banter gave me time to secretly Wikipedia this dude. And I don't see anything that's exciting me. Like, he wrote Ender's Game. I feel like I maybe have heard of that.
Right.
But I might have heard of it from this morning when I was supposed to be taking these notes to begin with.
That happens to me all the time. I'm like, I know that. Oh, right, because I didn't know that. And I don't, really. But I do now.
I think I've heard of Ender's Game. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he wrote that. He's got a very cool signature, which is on his Wikipedia. It's a weird thing to have on his Wikipedia, but it is. It's put there like everyone's is, too. Like his name, date of birth, his signature. Yes, you get it. It's all very formulaic. Anyway, he wrote a lot of the insult sword fighting stuff. And this puzzle frustrated Strummer did not like this puzzle at all. It was losing him, man. Like I was losing him at this point in our play because you have to. It's a bit repetitive. I think ultimately it's quite brilliant, and I would love to see how it was programmed too. There's a lot of like nerdy things get churning in my head when we were playing it, but for him it was like, you know, you have to fight a lot of pirates to get all the sayings and then the follow-ups, and I was definitely losing him through that. And it's also quite like tame. Like the insults aren't for the yeah exactly, like for the brain rot generation. Like, man, they've already heard. That was a mighty gulp. First of all, it sounded like you had a jug of grog that you just.
I did. I've got my pewter
Christ.
mug here. Should have muted it.
That was the kind of swig. That's right. I'm upgrading it to a swig. That was the kind of swig somebody takes when they've been stuck at sea for 4 days and they just got brought onto the boat.
It was just all that singing of sea shanty sailor songs that dried my throat out.
Also,
What we were doing before we came on the air, you know.
You promised you wouldn't tell them that. To everybody listening, our audio, we're trying to make better audio. This should sound better for anybody that. But it also might sound worse. To let us know what you think, because basically we've abandoned our full repair system. For anybody that heard the last episode, the Quest for Glory episode, if I sounded like I was on a cell phone, that was like our normal quality, whereas Anna at that point had already abandoned the repair. Anyway, look, this should sound better. If it doesn't, or if the background whatever is too annoying, please let us know.
Because somebody's now using a leaf blower out in the rain.
Well, Anna sounds like she's at sea this whole episode. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, because it's raining there and there's cars going by making these shanties or these sea. I'm getting all my ocean-related nomenclatures mixed up here. Look, yeah, we were hoping it would just blend in with the theme of the episode, if not just be a little, relaxing touch. There it goes, like. So basically, is that annoying? And if it is, let us know. Granted, it's not always going to be raining, but sometimes it will be.
No, and I'm not always going to be in this room either. It's a thing.
Yeah.
That's all.
Anyway, back to Orson Scott. Actually, let's not go back to Orson Scott.
Let's not.
That was
Let's
a dead
talk.
end. Yeah, sorry, Orson, if you're listening. Man, if you're listening, I feel horrible. Look, I've heard of Ender's Game before today, probably. All right? I'm making it worse. Forget it. So we do the insult sword fighting. I think the sword fighting. Okay, here was my actual thoughts on the sword fighting. I think that the insult sword fighting in particular requires a bit of nostalgia to love to the degree in which everybody seems to love it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have nostalgia for it and you're just kind of playing it, because the first time I consciously played this game was like 6 years ago. As I established in the beginning of the episode, I don't know if I played it as a kid. I think I did. It's all very hazy. Who knows? But really, my first experience with this game was a few years ago, and it's hard to love it as much as everybody loves it. Mm-hmm. I do love that the fight like a dairy farmer is like the universal I like adventure games thing.
Yeah.
Like if somebody at a party finds out that you like adventure games, that could be the thing that bonds you. Mm-hmm. I guess. I don't know where I'm pulling this very specific scenario from. I don't even go to parties, but I think I just want that for myself. Wouldn't that be nice one day to just...
When you're at that house party and there's only 35 people there, but randomly, amazingly, somebody comes back at you with the opposing insult and you have a friend.
Right. We'd have to know the opposing insult, granted. We've hosted an adventure game podcast for 6 years. We've made an adventure game. And we somehow don't have confidence that we know exactly. You fight like a cow? I think?
Yeah, it's you fight like a dairy farmer. Or no, you fight like a cow. Well, oh yeah, you fight like a dairy farmer.
Nailed it. Yeah. That was exactly. That was scathing. And then said dream girl in your one scenario to meet the right person is just like, oh, no, I thought you liked adventure games. I'd be like, no. Come on, baby. I swear I got this podcast. I made one. It took 4 years. But yeah, if you drop the ball on the dairy cow farmer shit, we'll study it. We'll get it down eventually. And we'll meet Mrs. Wright with it. So, all right, let's move on from sword fighting here. Strum didn't like it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Look, if I'm being honest, I don't want to bullshit you guys. I thought it was fine. I don't think it's like the greatest puzzle of all time. I don't even think it's actually that funny. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. It's fine. It's just fine. It's cute. It's not. At no point did I laugh. I just had a smile, a persistent smile on my face throughout it.
Aww.
And what more could you really ask for besides outright laughter?
Yeah, I don't do outright laughter very often, though.
Well, can we? Okay, since I've already took a small, not a dig, just a little honest criticism, I will say that a lot of reviews for this game call it laugh out loud funny, and I did laugh out loud 2 times, not like a hearty laugh, hearty, but just I laughed twice. The rest of the game is just it's fun. You're smiling throughout the whole time. It's a fun. Yeah, it's a persistent smile sort of thing. Like, I like this. I'm enjoying all the dialogue. But as far as, like, actual laughing, like, it's only twice. Like, in other words, I just feel like it missed... These are all things that made me think I would have liked my first playthrough better than I did. You know what I mean? I had it up on this, like, pedestal of, like, you're going to laugh nonstop. It's laugh out. It's like, it's not... I don't want to say the comedy's dry, but it's, like, it's definitely, for me, it wasn't, like, laugh out loud comedy. It was more just, like, it's a really fun time. Yeah.
That's true. Anytime there was any kind of like active arcade puzzle, I can't even remember the specific one that I'm referring to, but before you get on the ship, I gave it to Jacob and I had him do it. He's really good at that part of the game, so he doesn't care about the story so much, even though he'd look over occasionally. But whenever there's like, here's the sheet of paper, here, what did I record, actually? I think I recorded the little puzzle so that he'd be able to copy. Oh, right, for the safe, to get into the shopkeeper's safe. I'm like, damn it, I can't remember what order it's in. So I videotaped him doing it, and I just gave him the controls, and I had him do it for me while I did something else.
Right.
I was like, that's how it's meant to be. I'm really happy with that combo.
Right. You might argue that you're such a hardcore adventure gamer that you considered opening a safe in arcade sequence. You're like this fast-paced, action-based bullshit. I don't like it.
All of a sudden, it's real time. It's super stressful, and I don't know. I did it a few times. It didn't work.
Stressful.
I handed it to him, and he did it right away. And I'm like, thank you.
Yes, and what you don't know about this whole thing is that I had the same experience. I videotaped. I took my phone out and recorded it, and I was like, man, back in the day, I would have like written this down and somehow enjoyed it more for having written it down. But now I'm just like, why would I? Like, I know I can record it. I can't pretend that I don't know the easier solution here. So yeah, so I just recorded it, and then Strum was purposely messing with me, as he did a lot through this playthrough. I'll get into that later. It made it more fun, honestly, for like our bonding. It just hampered the experience a little bit, the gameplay.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I found that annoying, and I kept messing it up by like one, and then the first like 1 or 2 times, I didn't have it saved like at the right spot, so you had to like send him away and back again, and blah blah blah. That's what it was. Okay. If I'm gonna get really nitpicky, I would say that the same sequence that gets him to open the safe, you then have to send him to the sword fighter so he'll leave.
It's so long. That's why I was frustrated. I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot do this one more time, because you already have to send him away. Well, I had to figure out how to do that, how to get the sword, how to get the puzzle, because it's intuitive and it makes sense in retrospect, but it takes a moment to figure out what you need to do.
Exactly.
And when.
Right. Yeah, no. And I'm sure, like me, like I had already sent him away way earlier in the gameplay, not even knowing. I didn't even mean to yet. Like we were just wandering around. He's like, "I'll go get her." I'm like, I'm not ready for that." Okay, so we were both a little annoyed with the safe thing. Yeah, the safe. That's maybe the weaker puzzle in the game, because this game does have phenomenal puzzles. Like that is my 2 main takeaways from this game are contrary to popular. Maybe I'd say contrary to populace. Look, most people praise the writing, and I thought the writing is good. But what I thought was exceptional in this was the art, and by art I mean even like the tiny details in the animations are so awesome. Again, I can get into those as we go with the story here. But was the art, the details in the animation, and the puzzles. The puzzles are exceptional, extraordinary. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to the story-based thing, because that'll help us unfold thoughts and stuff. So,
right. So, oh my goodness, the governor's been kidnapped. Who could have done it?
Yes. Unbelievable. We had just fallen in love with her, too. And she's gone. So, we have to go put together a ragtag crew of salty guys and girls.
Did you think that you were going to have to, like, I thought that, especially the first time I played, but again the second time, that you'd have to take the pirates that had the rat. I was like, y'all are pirates. Obviously, you guys are going to need to be a part of my crew. But then the game's just like, you need 3 crew members. It's like, oh, I guess it's not them.
Yeah, they seem like the baked-in crew members. Like, you know, you could almost, maybe that would have been a Sierra game thing. We're just like, you 3, come with me, and that's that. That's, you have your crew. Yeah, the getting the crew. This is a positive for me, but I think it's weird. I think you hear a lot of critique on dialogue heavy games, or dialogue dense games, and this game is extremely dialogue heavy and dense, but you don't hear. It's like it gets away with it because it's Monkey Island, I guess. And again, this is I'm not framing this coherently, but like, because I really obviously like dialogue heavy games, and I'm saying obviously because my game is dialogue heavy, and I lean into it. Like, yes, it's, you know, it's a narrative based genre. Like, that's what narrative is the dialogue essentially. But it just seems like Monkey Island does some interesting things that I like, that is not popular in adventure games, such as like backtracking or walking. No quick exits, like walking back and forth through areas, and like it.
I was thinking about that because I'm like, one I've heard people say about various games that we know that, oh, it's so hard, you know, there's no quick way to walk back and forth across. I'm like, my God, Monkey Island, you have to walk back and forth across such long rolling background screens all the time, and it's a huge part of the gameplay and game time even. Right,
exactly, and yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just interesting to me that it does a lot of things that people don't like anymore, but it also doesn't take critique for them. And I mean, it's often framed as like the perfect adventure game. So it's because I think the argument to what we're saying is like, yes, but you know, that was 40 years ago, and now we know not to do that. And it's like, yeah, but it didn't hamper anyone's experience with the game. Like, everybody. It's not like, oh, I love Monkey Island except for all the walking. Like, you know, you don't hear that. It's so beloved that people, I think, are tight-lipped about critiques just because they love it so much more than they have critiques for it. And I guess I'm just trying to build a point here to say, like, if the game's good enough, none of that shit matters.
Yeah.
Because you're just engrossed in the game. Okay. Anyway, I've got some behind-the-scenes facts. None of them are good. First one. Oh, fuck! It's Orson Scott Card again. Damn it, Orson. Now I just think it's hilarious if he was listening to this. I'm so sorry. The Scumbar name, again, if you're listening to the show, you know it's because the engine's the Scum engine. Why is that written down, honestly? I'm sorry, guys. You deserve better than that first page of Google bullshit. Character inspirations. Okay, here's one. This is a little bottom of the barrel stat here. Fact. Carla the Swordmaster is based off of Carla Green, a Lucasfilm staff member. And I had a second one that's a portrait. The other female, I guess it would be Marley's portrait, is based off of another staff member, and I wrote it down, but I don't see it. Maybe I put it later in the thing. Point being is that the female portraits, at least, I think all of them were based off of staff members, and I like that. That's a nice little wholesome, whatever. Okay, talking points. Anna, do the 3 trials serve as a tutorial for gameplay mechanics?
I never thought of them as a tutorial, but yes, I suppose if they were thinking of introducing the game to people that didn't generally play adventure games, that would be a novel way of doing so without them even realizing it, like me. Nice.
Okay, good answer. I'm not going to answer that. I hate that question. Thank you for doing something nice with it. Because I guess my answer is like, I guess. Like, it's such a huge part of the game. It's the entire first act, which is, I think, definitely the longest act. That it's hard to think of it as a tutorial. Okay, next one. Now we've already kind of covered that naturally. Okay, no, I don't want to talk about that either. Okay, on to Act 2, the journey to Monkey Island. So, we're assembling a crew, as we kind of started already talking about. You got your Carla. You got your Meat Hook. You got your Otis. Yep, okay, Otis was the jail guy. Cool. That was fun.
Yep. I like the talking tattoo. I thought that was a funny take on a character.
Right.
idea.
Okay. Let's spend a minute in Meat Hook's room.
Yes.
Okay. Thoughts? How did you meet Hook? What about the parrot?
Yeah. I completely forgot what was in there when I played it this time. I knew it was
Same.
going to be something small, and I knew it was going to be something inane, but I was like, just the fact that he's all tough, and then he's got this adorable little talking tattoo, and he's scared to death of a parrot. Of course, that makes him such an endearing character. Like, I'd like a funny Halloween costume would be him, and then like a parrot that's on a wire behind him so that it looks like he's being scared by it throughout the party all the time. Right. Like every time he looks behind him, oh my God, there it is again.
That's funny that we both forgot what was behind the door. Yeah.
I totally did. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be funny. Whatever it is, it's going to be funny.
Yes, this game, they really enjoy subverting expectations. Mm-hmm. That seems to be like maybe even the core of the jokes in this game, which I really like too. I am guilty of plenty of that in Phantom Fellows too. I felt almost called out by it in this game too. I'm like, okay, so yeah. Mm-hmm. If anything, I was just like, I wasn't as original as I maybe thought I was. They do this. They do this too. Okay.
So you've got your crew and you've boarded the boat and you're all ready to put them to work, and they decide to go mutinous. Bastards.
Yes. Well, hold on. Let's back up to stands, because I got to cover actually getting the ship and stand and all that.
Oh, you want to go back that far? Okay, well, buckle up, kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I have to mention how. Well, okay, actually, I'm going to go even farther back for a second. The insult sword fighting thing, I wanted to say, I was saying that how generationally, like Strum's generation, Brain Rot generation, it's not like cutting and sharp and edgy enough. But I wanted to put in perspective that when this game was made, like, Eat My Shorts was something that was pissing parents off. Mm-hmm. Like, Eat My Shorts was actually edgy. Like, parents didn't like the T-shirts. Or
so
like,
rude.
Yeah, exactly. Bart was rude. So I could definitely see, like, product of its time situation. And so I guess what I'm just trying to say is I think some of the actual insults aged in the same way that Eat My Shorts did, which it's still like, well, it's funnier than Eat My Shorts ever was, to be fair. But for Strummer's generation, he was very just like, oh my God, this is all kind of dad jokey and cringy. Anyway, so I had to wrap that whole point up with the Eat My Shorts thing. Now, fast forwarding, we're assembling the crew. We've assembled the crew, check. Now we're going to go get the ship. So the crew is going to meet us on the dock later, and we're going to go get the ship from Stan.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about Stan. In the EGA version, his coat is still majestic. Oh, my goodness.
Yes, yeah, his coat is iconic. Okay, you can answer this for me and Strummer. Was somebody wearing the coat at the fanfare?
Yeah, I think I saw somebody wearing the coat.
I feel like I did too, but I can't put my finger on it. He recognized it.
I can't remember who. Yeah.
And he was like, "This is from Washington." But I don't know if it was like an actual person or he just, whatever.
I think somebody had something like it. I mean, there was a costume contest.
Yeah. Okay. So we're both a hard maybe on that. Fantastic. Oh, and that reminds me, I gotta jump back again. Sorry. So we do our episodes are very Tarantino-ish. We just kind of hop around the place, and maybe it all comes together at the end. Maybe it doesn't. You had mentioned the cutscene in the mansions, the mayor's mansion, Mayor Marley's mansion. There we go. I wasn't trying to alliterate. I was just highlighting why that was hard to say. Anyway, I just had to give credit where credit's due, because I was like, when you brought it up, I'm like, I'll say more on that when we get there, and I didn't, because I'm not organized like that. Why do I think that I will? Is actually the whatever. That just deserves it's would you say just desserts? Is that the phrase? Is that the saying?
Yeah, I mean just desserts. Yeah, like you get your just desserts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a weird saying. Let's talk about that saying instead. Man,
I know, right? It's like, yeah, I do want my just desserts.
What is the just doing? What is that serving as there? Why is it just desserts?
Because it's because of the way you've behaved and the fairness.
Like a justice.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just. Right. Huh. Justo. Okay. So anyway, that's a great scene is all I wanted to say. Hey.
It is. It made me laugh the first time, and then it was fun the second time when they took over again. I love how he kept grabbing random inventory items and then utilizing them in ways that you wouldn't even make sense to. It's fun.
It is. It is the beauty of adventure games captured in that moment where it's not about beating the game or going for it. It's just like sitting back and enjoying, this grand opera of comedy play out. It's so damn funny. And the animations of him coming through the wall and the painting is phenomenal. There's so many good animations in this game. It's wild. Like a quick detail, because if I'm about to do that thing again, we're like, I'll cover it when we get there, and I won't. We just went through that. I never do. So just saying it now. When you light the cannon off, that you alluded to earlier with the Sierra, I thought it was going to die a bit. When you light the cannon off, they, at least in the VGA version, they animate reflections of the burning. Is that a wick?
Mm-hmm. A rope. A small piece of rope.
Flint. Is that what it is? You light the...
Oh, yeah. You have to light it with the gunpowder and the flint.
I'm not satisfied with the name of this little burning rope thing, and it's just creating a traffic jam in conversation.
It's a wick. Wick.
It is a wick? I mean, I know it's a wick in a candle, but I thought it was like and I know flint is the stone. Okay, all right. Whatever. We'll get there. We'll get there after the episode. I'm Googling this later. Anyway, the flame that burns down the little rope thing reflects on the metal of the cannon.
It's called a slow match.
No, see,
It's a length. I'm looking it up. It's a length of rope or cord treated with chemicals to make it burn slowly, used to ignite the gunpowder in cannons before more advanced firing mechanisms were developed.
You're forcing me to give you a weird half-assed thank you. Because thank you, you looked it up and that's the answer, but I hate the answer. It's not what I was looking for. Because I've never heard that before in my life, so it's just more confusing shit.
A fuse, is that the word?
A fuse! It's the fuse. That's all it is. Thank you. Just the fuse. Holy shit.
I refuse to help for a minute.
Ah, God.
Yeah.
Man, that was good. That was horrible good. Wow. Anyway, the thing lights and you see it reflecting on the cannon. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I had to diffuse that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Okay. We're down at stands, and my little LOL meter goes up and gets its first tick on the meter. Because when he gives you that passive-aggressive, I love wasting my time comment, that shit was really, really funny. It was really good. He's like, yeah, just think about it. That's fine. It's not a big deal to waste my time completely or anything. That was so good. The voice acting for Stan is phenomenal. It's everybody in this game is like out of the park. I think perfect, like weirdly perfect. In like a.
Is it fan made? I don't know.
No. So no good. Well, I'm glad you asked, Anna. We can, elaborate for the listeners as well. So the ultimate talkie patch is it takes the voice acting from the remastered Secret of Monkey Island. So that was done in 2009, and they brought back Dominic Armato, who voices Guybrush in Escape and Tales and every Monkey Island except for the first two. Well, that's not true because the remastered. Look, it's the same Guybrush. It was professionally done. It was because the remasters are all licensed and everything. So it comes from that. So basically, the Ultimate Talkie patch. You plug in your copy of the remastered and it extracts all the voice acting, and then you plug in your VGA version and it stuffs it in there.
That's amazing.
Real good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So it's super authentic. The timing is absolutely perfect. It's perfectly polished. Definitive way to play the game because the voice acting is so good. But yeah, anyway, Stan's voice acting is perfect. So is the Cannibals. The Cannibals is so good. They give him like this like kind of Metro-y. I don't know how to say it. They give him like a soft handshake kind of vibe, and it's just perfect for Cannibals, man. It is so funny. I fear in trying not to be offensive, I was accidentally offensive. I don't know. Look, I'm not a mean-spirited person. I think you guys know that by now. It's all about the jokes.
I don't think the Cannibals have names. It's like, what is their Lemonhead, Big
there
Red,
is
and
Lemonhead.
Sharky Face?
Yeah. Lemonhead was the only. Lemonhead is his name. Were you just being sarcastic?
No.
No.
I guess his name is Lemonhead. Yeah, he has a lemon head. so I didn't really.
That was awesome. You're just like, I guess it's like Lemonhead or something. Yeah, no.
No, it's Lemonhead, Sharptooth, and Red Skull. They do have names.
They do have names. Okay, because they address Lemonhead, by his name. They don't address the other two by name. I don't think. Adorable. Me? Sarcastic?
Never.
All right, so to get to ship, you gotta go get a note from store keep guy, and we went through that. That was my least favorite puzzle in the game because our children were frustrating us, or something.
Yeah, you have to go back and forth a lot, and it took me a minute to figure out I was supposed to be going back to the storekeeper for specific things.
Right, storekeeper's voice acting is amazing too. It's like the quintessential old man. Like the way he says "don't touch anything" is exactly how you would wanted him to have said "don't touch anything." Like before he leaves to get the swordmaster, and don't touch anything. It's just, it's beautiful. It's so good. Okay, so let's just we got our ship. We'll say that, yeah, we've got our ship, and we're gonna set sail, and then we do set sail after the ship breaks a little, but that's fine. Yeah, there was a weird, I guess, a little bit of a, maybe I think my only critique on like the story end of things, because the story is really, really good. Obviously, what an original statement he just makes on an adventure game podcast. Yeah, you know what, guys? Story's actually pretty good in this game.
We talked about that on the adventure game episode, how story didn't always seem to be forefront and why.
Right. Actually, thank you, because that helps me, I guess, articulate to myself what I'm thinking here, which is that it once again doesn't really have a strong story to it. It shines in its observational and situational humor and things like that.
In all the moments, yeah.
Right, exactly. Which I obviously love. That's my whole jam with Phantom Fellows is that side of the writing, as opposed to really I mean, if I was being unnecessarily generous to myself in comparing the two, that's where they're very, very similar, where like the overarching story is it's there and it's suitable, but it's not dense and rich in lore and detail. It's more just it's everything else that's said that's the best part of this game. Because at the end of the day, it's like you fall in love with the mayor immediately. It's just like you go from like she kind of like signals a little bit, and then you're like fluffy boots and schnookums and whatever, and that's that. It just moving it along, keeps the plot moving.
Just like real life,
Yeah, like LeChuck, right, exactly. LeChuck, right, it's not that different than a right swipe, I mean. And LeChuck doesn't have a backstory sort of thing. Like, the story is completely serviceable without being, dense and things like that. But anyway, to my little critique was that I thought it was weird how Carla meets you on the dock and immediately is just like, I'm only doing this if I'm getting paid. And I was like, well, that doesn't feel right. She seemed like she really cared when you go to recruit her. And she's like, she's like, I know I'm going to regret this, but yeah, I'll come help the mayor. And then she shows up, and from Carla on the dock onward, she's very cold and harsh and different. Just like, pay me, I'm not doing nothing until you do. And it's just like, that was a little bit of a shift there. It doesn't matter, like, at all. It really doesn't. Like, it doesn't negatively affect the story or game in any way.
Right.
But I just noticed it as being a little...
But the continuity editor was maybe out to lunch a bit there.
Right. Well, it almost makes you wonder about assembling the crew, because then Otis from jail, like, it worked for the plot for him to it was a quick joke for him to walk off after you free him. But then they're like, actually, we do need him, so let's have him just show up at the dock anyway. It's almost like they, you know what I mean? They kind of sacrificed a little continuity there for the joke of freeing him, and he just leaves you, because Guybrush forgets to negotiate terms first. I guess what I'm just trying to say is, besides meat hands or hooks, meat hooks,
meat handless hooks.
The crew is a little rough
Don't
around
make
the
him
edges.
Cry. Yeah, he'll cry.
Right. Exactly.
He's very sensitive. Softy. Yeah.
Oh, poor meat hands. Well, in this game's defense, which it certainly doesn't need from me, but in its defense, for the hell of it, this game was made in 15 months. Which is wildly impressive. Yeah. 15 months from when Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade ended to when this game came out. It was only 15 months. And I think I'm taking this from Retro Ahoy. If anybody listening has not seen his Secret of Monkey Island documentary, it's a really, really thorough and really good documentary. It takes a few unnecessary jabs at Sierra, but that's fine. That's fine. We're all adults here. I can handle it. But according to him, there was 15 months between Last Crusade and this game, and they did make Loom in between the two, but I think Loom was a different team, essentially. I mean, besides Mark Ferrari, who was doing most of the art. But alas. So yeah, you're on the docks, and you're ready to go to the actual Monkey Island, which is exciting. So here's fun facts. Okay, before we leave for Monkey Island, we completely forgot the voodoo lady too. I wanted to bring her up. We stumbled across her by accident, and that, you know, I guess you only see her the one time to get the chicken on the pulley thing.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't come back after that.
That was a fun puzzle too. Was Strummer, the chicken on the pulley one, because we were sitting on our couch, and I was like, "What do you think we would use to get across this pulley thing, zip line?" And he was looking through the inventory. And it's not like, I don't know, pulleys aren't a part of his daily life, so I'm not sure he even recognized the pulley or what it did. But we were sitting underneath of our zip line. We have a zip line in the living room for some reason. Because it's just two dudes that live here. This is the exact reason why. We have indoor swings and all kinds of Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of shit in this house. So we were sitting under a zip line, and I just kind of pointed up, like, and there's a big pulley with handles on it, and he was obviously able to solve the puzzle from there. If he wasn't at that point, I would have been concerned, but yeah.
Right. No, he's okay.
Yeah.
You'll keep him.
Right. Yeah. I'm quickly scanning our fun facts. There was cut content here. There was going to be a ship-to-ship, we'll just leave that.
Shape?
Yeah. Combat sequence that was scrapped due to time constraints.
Right.
And I thought that was interesting because it sounds like if there was more time, they would have, as opposed to like, we don't like the idea or the. So yeah, it sounded like we dodged a arcade sequence bullet there.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Thank
cannon. Huh? Is that how puns work? I don't know if it is. Yikes.
No.
Yeah, I hate myself. Monkey Island name origin was inspired by a joke about making a game with monkeys. Neat. I would love to have heard the joke, but whatever. If anybody. This is, okay, we throw out a lot of half-hearted to the listeners, if this and that, let us know. But here's a for real let us know one. You could leave a comment in the Patreon thing or on Twitter or Facebook, whatever, all the places we post it, or an email. We'll yell that at you all later, as we always do. But if any of you went to Monkey Island in South Florida in the 90s, let me know. Because I used to go there a lot with my dad, and he loved that it was called Monkey Island because of the game. And this is actually, I said earlier in the episode, this is how I unlocked memories of playing Monkey Island as a kid. Because I'm like, there was moments on this podcast where I was like, I don't even think we had LucasArts games growing up, blah, blah, blah. No, we totally did. And he really, really liked the idea of Monkey Island being an actual place. And I can't quite articulate it because I was, probably like 8 years old or whatever, but I just know that he was thrilled that there was a real Monkey Island to go with the game. And it was in, I think it was in the Keys. So it would have been Key Largo, definitely not Key West. I think Key Largo, or really close there. Like I was not driving at that age, so it's like you only know specific places if you were the one driving. It's way down there in Florida.
Morgan Island? No, that's not it.
No, and they're definitely closed down. I tried to search it up earlier. They have not been open since like the internet.
Oh, okay. Because this is another place. Wait, though, it's known as Monkey Island due to its colony of free-ranging rhesus monkeys.
Oh, weird. Okay, is that in Florida?
No, it's in South Carolina.
Okay, gotcha. I don't even remember what was that. I'm pretty sure there were monkeys at Monkey Island. It's a really kind of wild sentence out of context.
Oh, there it is. Homosassa, Florida. It's still open.
Are you sure?
Monkey Island Nature Preserve. Historic Monkey Island. They're going to be doing renovations.
Oh, okay. They're working. Okay. All right, cool.
If you want to contribute, send them a check or a money order to Historic Monkey Island in Homosassa. I'm so sorry, guys, whoever lives there, Florida.
Yeah, you've offended nobody.
But you can look. There's live cameras on the island where you can look live. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, you can look at actual Monkey Island. And if she remembers to send the link, I'll put it in the description. There's a lot of remembering that has to happen for that to... It's probably not in the description, but it might be. Okay, so let's move on to Act 3. But before we do, I've got some talking points. Very exciting, I know. Okay, we already talked about that one. Check. We already talked about that one, Shek. And oh yeah, I just wanted to ask you. Not even sure if this is an interesting conversation for the podcast. Is Act 1 longer? A lot long? Is Act 1 the longest?
Yeah, I think it's the longest, and then probably Monkey Island is probably the second longest because there's a lot of back and forth travel, especially if you don't know what you're doing right away and where you're going.
Right. That's right. That's exactly it. It's like there's Act 1. It's long because there's a lot to do, and Act 2 is longer because you have to go. Yeah, a lot of going.
At least
around
the
islands.
boat's faster. Like I forgot how much quicker the boat is because at first I'm like, oh my god, I got to row this thing all the way around the outside of this island. How much? But I'm like, oh, it's zippy. It's okay.
It's only zippy if you click on an exit point. Did you notice that? If you walk it, like like click here, click there, then it goes quite slow and annoyingly. So.
Yeah.
And that's neat, that rhyme. But if you click it to like where you need to go or off screen, then it does zip off screen, which is nice. It took me a while to realize that. Okay, so we're Act 3. Right. So Act 3 is called Under Monkey Island. Sorry, that really threw me off because you don't spend much of it under it. You do eventually get under it, but this is all Herman Toothrot territory.
Right. And he's funny because it's like he's all running around like he's got some crazy secret and you just can't figure out what it is the whole time.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, that was another really, really funny part of this game. Okay, LOL meter goes up to 2 on this one. So it made me laugh out loud 4 times. That's good. I said 2 earlier, so it's already doubled as we're recalling it. But later in this act, I want to so badly say day. Later in this act, when you get the bottle with the note in it, goddamn, that was so funny because the context building up to it. Yeah, the context building up. There's all this behind the scenes tension between the cannibals and Herman. Again, for the few that I guess maybe haven't played this, it's so hard to believe that somebody listening hasn't played it. But if you hadn't, so Herman and the cannibals have this kind of feud going on where like Herman stole their key to the giant monkey head because the cannibals have his banana picker. And I don't know if it's unclear to me, to which I blame Strummer, or if it was purposely vague. But like I don't know who started this quarrel. They have a quarrel. One has the key, the other has the monkey grabber, and they belong to the other person. And neither of them are budging. And it's kind of adorable. It just keeps coming up. Like it's a very like catty and bitchy quarrel that's going on. So anyway, you've heard about this quarrel going on throughout most of your time in Act 3. And towards the end of Act 3, when you've gotten the boat and you get to the island that has the bottle, there's like a note from a lawyer that's reached Herman, and it's like, Herman, I think we have a case here. So Herman's going to take the cannibals to court over the banana picker, and it's so beautifully absurd. That was another LOL. Actually, another LOL marker. Okay, so look, we're getting to 5 now, so maybe this is laugh out loud funny. Was the unhealthy man description.
Oh, yeah, his poor friend. Yeah. I mean, and you know what? It's funny because they didn't even, like, Herman wasn't even going to be a part of it. They added him, like, way late in the production. But then they're like, that whole part of the game is way, way too chill. We need something going on. So they, like, invented him and his friend and put it all in there.
Awesome. Okay. Love that. Herman has Willy Gumdrops vibes. Kind of just has this unhinged, I mean, or at least Herman has a known reason for it, but yeah, that was really good. I mean, okay, I don't know if that was LOL, but it was definitely like a kind of laugh when you see the description for his dead friend as an unhealthy looking man.
Yeah, exactly. Especially after you like flood him out of his space.
Yeah.
Like there's a few puzzles that's like feeding the monkey, like the whole quest to find all the bananas and all that is funny. For then what you need the monkey for in the end. Like it's so adventure gamey.
It is, yeah. That's my favorite animation and sound effect in the whole game is the monkey eating the banana.
I love that too.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so like I'm so glad you have to give him 5 bananas so I could see it 5 times. Mm-hmm. It's so good. The he slurps the banana peel like a noodle, and the animation is just chef's kiss, man. It's perfect. Considering the banana peel is like 6 pixels, it's just nailed it. Looks exactly like what they wanted it to, and the sound effect matches it perfectly. So good. Was there a sound effect in the EGA version?
Yeah, there's little sound effects, and they come out of the blue. I mean, except for like at the end when you're crawling around in the crazy underground place, but mostly there is no sound in the background, so something will happen. You'll be like, "Wow, what is that?"
Right. Right. And then same in the VGA. What's up with the music in VGA? Is it it's there, right? Is it there? Because there's a lot of silence in the game. Did you notice
There
that?
is. A lot.
Okay. Because I think
Which is the same thing people are getting criticized in more modern games for having times of silence. And it's like there's generally been times of silence in classic games.
right. Yeah. It almost strikes me as a break from the relentless noise. Like for Phantom Fells, we only did it at home. There's no music at home. I almost wanted it that way so you could almost choose to go take a break from it, but while having something to do, obviously. But anyway, okay. I was just wondering how that all worked out, because I think there's a version of the Ultimate Talkie that you can build that also patches the music to where it never stops.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I had past me had compiled both of them, which was super handy because I opened up this folder and I had like Ultimate Talkie for Scum, Ultimate Talkie for DOS, and then Ultimate Talkie with this music patch thing. And I chose not to play it though because I wanted to see, based on what you were saying, Anna, with critiques and stuff like that. I was like, let's see how much it does matter or doesn't matter. And yeah, it's not noticeable on a conscious level while you're playing. It's not like, oh, the music stopped now. It's just you're just playing the game.
That's true.
Especially with the talkies.
So now finally we're going to go back to where I was talking about before, which is the cannibals, Lemonhead and friends.
Mm.
And funny story, I had an ex who really loved Lemonheads as a candy, and you couldn't find them anywhere in Canada. You finally had to travel to the States. We
Wow.
found some there. Nowadays, you can order them online, so story's not as interesting anymore.
Well, it's a weird favorite candy, is my takeaway from that.
They're not great. They're
No,
not.
it's-
They taste like cleaner, like
Yeah.
lemon cleaner,
Jesus.
like Pledge.
Yeah, I don't remember what they taste like. They're like one of those choky candies too, so I never let Strum have them on Halloween.
No.
That's a weird favorite candy. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what do you got to say about the cannibals?
Well, they were fun. I mean, they were human, right? You could kind of play around with them. I mean, you're trying to mess with them right from the get-go by like, look behind you, there's a three-headed monkey. They're like, yeah, we're not going to fall for that, but there really is, and like all the jokes behind it. So, the way to finish the puzzle was kind of funny, well, silly, because you just were able to pick up the thing on the ground that they wanted you trade him with. It was all there. Everything you needed to do to appease the cannibals was there already, and they could have done it for themselves, technically.
Yeah, a lot of again more of the subverting expectations. I like the phew, man, that's just immediately left my head as I started to say it. What did I like? The vegetarian aspect of them, and talking about like the
the cannibals being vegetarians, funny, cause,
Yes.
and talk. What about your heart? What about your heart? And all that.
exactly
That's
cholesterol levels. Strum was stoked about the three-headed monkey because he's like on my desk. There's the plushie, the three-headed monkey plush, and he's seen that all of his life basically. And in that moment in the game, it brought meaning to this plushie that he's always seen. So it was just like this light bulb epiphany sort of thing. And anyway, brought meaning to the three-headed monkey, who you get to talk to, which is really, really satisfying. That
you do actually, and again, it kind of busts out of that mold. You don't expect it,
right. That felt like something that made me proud. Like that's, I feel like that would have been something I would have done if I'm to. I don't know. That feels a little self-serving now that I've said it out loud. But it felt relatable, like on a development level. It's like, yeah, let him. It feels like it feels like fan service in a sense. Like you imagine that the player's gonna want this, so let them do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all about that.
And I mean, they're super useful. You get your head of the navigator from them, and you get a ghost zapping.
Oh right,
formula
yes,
from them,
to the cannibals, right? Yes, so you get the root, which is just for root beer, as it turns out. It took me. I didn't get that my whole first playthrough. I don't think.
Sarsaparilla. But
Sioux
not.
City, yeah. All right, so moving on from the cannibals, then you.
Well, there's like a thing you have to do because like they have Herman Toothrot's banana picker, and they threw his oars for his rowboat off a cliff, and in return, Herman has the key for the Monkey Island, and he won't give it back to them.
Exactly. So you're doing a little back and forth. It gets a little. not grindies. Maybe it's just the oars. The oars to me were a little annoying, and it's only because I forgot the rope at Herman's camp, and I only had one rope, and I was very confused for quite some time about that. Because I was like in my head, I'm like, there's no way I need a second rope, but you need a second rope. It's rare in an adventure game that you need two of the same inventory item. I'm not sure if I can even think of that happening ever anywhere else. Except for Monkey Island, because you have several bananas and several grog mugs. Huh. To think about that more later.
And rocks in Quest for Glory. You can have many. Or daggers. Weapons in general. Those are the kinds of things you can have multiples of.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess regardless, I was super stumped on the rope thing. It seemed like a weird thing to need two of, but alas. So yeah, it's unfair to say grindy. I just was stuck for a minute. I don't need to dump that on the game's lap. And then, I was going to say from way earlier, I think the only, because I think what Monkey Island does really, really good is that nothing about this game feels lazy. Like, everything has a tremendous amount of effort, and it's all really clever. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, every puzzle, everything about this game is incredibly clever, and there's just one part that's not. And I think it stands out to me as being less clever, only because it's not even fair to pick on it, because any other adventure game could get away with this. But because the rest of this game is so unlazy that I notice it like stuck out like a sore thumb. And who knows, maybe there's a thing behind it I'm missing. But it was how you get the key to your armoire in the cereal. That just felt really like, what? Like, why would the key that we like? And maybe that's the joke, I guess, is that it's so illogical and stupid that it's, I don't know, but it's like, and again, for those who haven't played it, there's a locked armor in your boat. Your boat is stocked with cereal, so at least the cereal came with the boat. Maybe there's a connection there, I don't know. But you get the cereal, and like the box of cereal you choose has a prize in it, and then you look at the prize and open it, and it turns out to be the key that you need to unlock your armor.
Right, after you eat some of the cereal first.
Yes, and it's like, did all the boxes have that key in it? And that's, you know what I mean? Like, I really wanted this to make sense somehow, and it just really doesn't. And it's, again, it just stands out a bit. Like, any Sierra game could do this, and I wouldn't have critiqued it. It would just be like, oh, yeah, there's the key we need. It's in the cereal, fair enough. But like,
because you're talking about the golden child.
Right, and everything makes so much sense in this game. Like, everything is, even if it's jokey, it's very clever and thought through. So that was a little weird. But again, a positive for the negative. There's a Family Guy joke that I love, where Captain Crunch yells at Peter or somebody, and he's just like, it's not, or I think he's at court, and he's like, no, it's not true. My cereal does not cut the roof of your mouth. And I always thought that was so damn funny. And as I learned last night, Family Guy got that joke from Monkey Island.
Totally,
surely.
Right?
I mean, unless the cereal happened to have cut, the top of lots of people's mouths, which it obviously did. That's why it's funny. But still, Monkey Island did that joke first, and and when I saw that, I was like super thrilled about that. So that was really good. Me too.
I am now as well. Yes.
They got their first, and I love them both. Okay, so that was a little backtracking. We're back. We like fast forward. We talked to Three-Head Monkey for no reason, but we get the banana picker. We give it to Herman. We got the key to the monkey head, which is a Q-tip. We go to the monkey head, and this was Strummer's crowning achievement of the game. And I promised him I would say it on the podcast too. That I didn't notice it. I was too busy moving forward, trying to get the key in the monkey head and whatever. And he noticed that one of the totems was Sam and Max. He found the Sam and Max reference, and that was awesome. Yes. It was a proud dad moment too, because he noticed it, whatever, but it was like that he knew it was Sam and Max, and it's not, it's only like 30 pixels. Like, it was, I was highly impressed, and I guess it's self-serving too, because I was proud of the fact that he knows Sam and Max that well by now, which he should, because he's played it several times with me, and the box is next to his computer, and when we play VR chat together, my avatar is Sam.
So he's made to know it.
Exactly. Or maybe Max, because Anna and I don't know which one's which ever on the fly. It's very confusing. Right. It might be Max.
Sam and Max.
Max, look, I'm the rabbit.
But no, Max is definitely the rabbit.
Yeah, sure.
100%.
Yeah, 99. No, I'm sorry. I know you're right, because I remember having this last time. Okay. So we're in the monkey head, and we go down to hell. And this is my favorite puzzle in the game, was the navigator head. And it might just be from like a nerdy programming perspective, but I think as a player, fun to play perspective. Like you hold the navigator head out and he turns, you know, the direction you need to go. Sorry, that was hard to finish.
Yeah, and it's I love the graphics on the navigator head when you go close up, and I love that you can eventually talk to it because I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that thrilled the shit out of Strummer. Like he wasn't expecting to see the head at all, and it was super creepy looking, and he likes creepy stuff. He's a weird child like that. But yeah, those were my other two laughs. I've stuck this through the whole episode. That's impressive. I always forget those running things. But the other two laughs were both to the navigator head. Because one was the narrator. Was it the narrator? No, it was the cannibal. And this was a lot to do with the voice acting. Sorry, Anna. But the cannibal gives you the head, and you hold it in your hands for the first time, and then he smiles at you. And the cannibal, the way he voiced it, he's just like, "Oh, he likes you."
I know. Aww.
It was the perfect voice acting, and it was so damn funny. And then the other one,
that is so adorable.
the other one was the when you talk the head into giving you his necklace. Which, real quick, which route did you go? Did you beg him or threaten him?
Oh, I begged him.
Same.
I was being nice. Yeah,
I know,
of course.
I
know. I can't do it.
I know. I didn't mean either. Exactly. But then he agrees to give it to you, and he's like, "Oh, what's a necklace without a neck anyway?" And then he just smiles at himself. Like he's so proud of his shitty joke that it made me laugh really hard.
Yeah, I like that. I like that they let you push it that far. Or like, for example, with the cannibals, when they first say you have to give them something for them not to sacrifice you. It doesn't matter what you give them, because they're going to put you and lock you up away anyways. But there's like separate lines written for everything you could potentially give them. That's a neat detail.
Right. There's a lot of great details like that. Another one, I should have written all these down, but at least I remember one of them, which is, unfortunately, fast forwarding past this whole segment we'll talk through in a second, but when you're done with the ghost ship and your crew, then again, it depends. This was a cool alternate thing. If you shot the cannon at your ship, then I guess Herman meets you there, but I shot it at the banana tree, so the crew meets me there.
Right.
And then when I'm done saying this, tell me which one you did, because I'm curious, but I'm also afraid I'll forget what I'm saying. Okay, you did both. That's easy.
Yeah, I didn't even think. I was just like, well, here's two things you need to hit, and I just hit them both.
Oh, God. So wait, which did it give you then, the crew or Herman?
Oh, it gave me Herman.
Okay, cool. So you must have did the ship first then.
Yeah, I did the ship first.
Cool. Okay. Anyway, so I did the banana tree. So the crew comes down there with you, and they know, I think his name's Bob, but they know the ghost skeleton that's already there, the one that like plays with his head a lot. Mm-hmm. That'll make sense if you played it. And so they start like talking like a really casual, just like, "Oh, so what happened to you? Why do you look so bad?" And he's like, "I died." And they're like, "Oh, you died? Well, what happened?" And they're just catching up, and you can just interrupt them at any time.
Yeah,
and
it's so funny though. I let it roll. I love that stuff.
Right? Yeah. And I'm trying to put my finger on. There's another point in the game earlier where it'll go so many different directions if you let it, and I'm just like, I was so glad they did that. Whatever. Okay, let's run through the ghost ship real quick, and then try to kind of give some fun facts and wrap this up.
Well, I just want to say I love the rainbow effect, the way that they've done the coloration on the ghosts, and the way that they look like. They're like rainbow ghosts. They're beautiful.
Yeah, that was my main note for this too. Actually, was just the artwork for this whole part is phenomenal. As a matter of fact,
good.
Before we did this, I looked up the EGA version again to refresh to see what you saw. Mm-hmm. And the EGA version, I don't know. I'm such a sucker for EGA that I was really tempted to say, because I think I like the EGA version better overall. Mm-hmm. But the whole ghost scene looks so good in BGA. Mm-hmm. It's the way they pulled off a glow without a glow is phenomenal. Like, it's so good. The layers and the way they get brighter with each pixel as they go in. And
man, I need to replay that version, don't I?
It was so beautiful. And then things that would have been the same in both versions would be like the ghost. I think they're dogs. I don't know, but they're eating, and you see the food go through their belly. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That was adorable. There's a puzzle where you have to kill a ghost rat, and that's weird. Mm-hmm. You gotta. He's already dead, but you kill him again. You kill him just to make sure he's really dead this time. Like, you kill his
just
ghost.
For good measure.
Yeah. Which is super metal, I guess, to kill.
I think they have a thing against rats, because at the beginning they wouldn't let you feed the rat. They're like, no, oh no, now the rat's gone. It was a whole thing. So.
Yeah, and then in the prison, there's the other cell is dedicated just to a rat. Like, the rat gets his own cell, which was kind of cute.
They were all about rat power.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that whole part of the game is visually stunning. Like the way Guybrush walks when he's invisible. Did you? Yeah, you have to do the invisible thing, I think, to beat the game.
You have to do the invisible thing. You have to put it on because otherwise the ghost will see you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that whole part is really, really clever. Like the way they did that was brilliant. Where you mostly just see the footsteps, but every now and then his whole body kind of does this cool highlight.
Shimmers that. Yeah, I really like it too.
Yeah, the animations are just, they are on another level from Sierra at all points. Like LucasArts' animations are just really professional.
And the little animation of him spraying the killer on the ghost, the root beer.
Right.
I like that animation too.
Yeah, the way they all melt and fall apart. Okay.
Have a taste of root beer, you evil spirit.
Yes. Nice. Okay, behind the scenes, we got cannibal vegetarian. Okay, yeah, we already covered that.
Actually, I was just going to say, though, that I did like that when you were killing the pirate ghosts, that you'd have these funny little conversations with them first, too. I mean, that was pretty funny.
Oh, okay. I remember the one on the dock. And when he's like, I love root beer. That's my favorite.
Yeah, and then you have a talk about a wedding with another guy.
Okay.
And then, because he's going to be, you're like, oh, we're going to meet you at the wedding or whatever. And then you know.
I didn't have that. Okay. Yeah. I know where and what. I even know why I didn't, because I remember we got on that screen and Strum immediately. Because Strum is still mostly used to, not adventure games. So he's like, we got to kill him the second you see him or he could get us, sort of feeling. So before the dude could have a conversation with us, Strum already clicked.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to the finale now. Is there anything else you want to cover on the ghost ship itself?
No, I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, samesies. I don't have a more. Oh, like when you open the safe and it's just the root in the safe. That was kind of funny. Okay. Right. Okay. So Herman, we've covered all that. We covered. I have here the character scaling. That this was the first for character scaling, and I'm not. I meant to fact check that before the thing, and I forgot. Because I feel like there's character scaling in King's Quest V, which would have came out first before this. But if there isn't, okay, I'll put it this way: if there isn't character scaling in King's Quest V, then this might have been the first use of character scaling. Like as you walk into the distance, they get smaller.
Yeah, I can't remember if they did that with King's Quest.
I can't either. Like I feel like they definitely did, but I can't really picture it. And I did notice the scaling kept popping out to me in this game a lot. But that might have been like some of these games. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I don't think they're. Who did it? I don't know who else. I don't know if they were first or not though, but they definitely. I don't know. Probably King's Quest. Yeah,
if not, then them. But whatever. There's a nice dodgy fact for you guys.
We've got lots.
Incredibly iffy and ultimately useless. Okay, so we're gonna skip the talking points and go on to the finale here, the showdown with the Chuck, which is essentially just a cutscene, and we've already kind of started it, I guess, because we mentioned killing the ghost with the root beer.
And then having a ice cream float after, as they mentioned. They're like, and when you're done dispelling spirits, have a nice float.
Yes. Oh, I will say on a personal note, the game validated my own dev stuff, because in Day 3 in Phantom Fellows, at a few points, I don't make the player walk around a lot. I'll basically, I'll let them, they'll naturally just walk off the screen, and instead of going to the usual room, they get put back to where they need to be, which is the way I was doing it, just to prevent fatigue and too much backtracking and stuff like that. And I always felt a little weird about that. I'm like, is that a thing? I remember one of the playtesters, or maybe it was one of the streamers, said thanks for that as they were playing it. And I was like, okay, good, they like it. But I still felt a little weird about it. And then I realized from this playthrough that Monkey Island does exactly that too. Where you leave, it does it twice. When you have to go back through the underground caves, it just puts you where you need to be. Yeah. And then also when you leave there for the last time, it just puts you straight up on the docks back at Melee Island. So that was validating. Be like, okay, that's the thing. You can do that. You can spare them the backtracking. But yeah, so then the final scene. I mean, I guess this will be the spoilers part if you haven't played it, but it doesn't matter. Everybody knows LeChuck's back in the second one, but ultimately, why don't you cover off the ending here?
You're going to throw that at me just like that, are you?
Yeah, I really am. Dumping it on you. No, I'm feeling a little,
I like that you go
wordy.
back. I like that you have the big battle at the grog machine. I like that, you've got your little cute conversation. I like that you get the little teaser after of what happened to your mutinous crew. I remember thinking that was really funny.
Right. And then ultimately, okay. So story plot wise, you show up there and LeChuck and Marley, Elaine. I keep calling her Marley, but that works.
You go to rescue her, and she's like, "What the hell? I'm already here to rescue myself." But that's cute, which I thought was adorable.
Yeah, like she had the whole thing covered, and it's a very Roger Wilco kind of vibe here at the end, basically, where Guybrush just kind of makes everything worse, and then ultimately stumbles his way to victory. I've always wondered like how much, if any, influence from Roger went into Guybrush. I don't think Roger owns, let's say, that type of personality to where they had to have borrowed from him to get there, But you also acknowledge that these studios were watching the shit out of each other and every little thing that they were doing. And anyway, yeah, there's a lot of Roger in Guybrush, and I say it that way because Roger was first. Nana nana, boo boo. But but anyway, yeah, it's a very Roger Wilco ending in a sense, where Guybrush kind of makes everything a little bit worse. Adventure games have always been. My other note here is adventure games have always been incredibly awesome to women. I think it like, especially in this period in time, that there wasn't a lot of that going on. Like, I guess because there were so many females in development, but having Elena be like the badass hero of her own story, like her own rescuer in a sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, Guybrush did kind of ruin it, but she did. It was clear that she had it covered. That was kind of cool, and not common for the time, let's say. And over at Sierra, they were doing the same things, which was cool. Like, I always felt like this one little genre of niche adventure games were oddly ahead of their time when it came to this, this type of gender equality, let's say. But anyway, enough bloody politics, am I right? That's the end of the game, basically. You get the bad guy dead, re-dead, melted. You melt the ectoplasm off him, and he collapses to the ground and dies.
That's it. Yeah, like right there in front of him, because you don't have your root beer anymore because you lost it. So you have to get a bottle out of the machine that never gives up bottles, kind of deal.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah, you end up in the co-cooking machine. The ending was originally considered part of a theme park simulation idea linking Monkey Island to Maniac Mansion, which is a fun fact. And for those who've played Monkey Island 2, then you kind of know where all that's going. But yeah, I thought that was fun. This one was supposed to have a theme park simulation idea linking it to Maniac Mansion. And then for anybody that's played Thimbleweed Park, you can see that Ron has wanted to do that for quite some time.
Yeah. And what did you learn? You learn it at the very end of the game, right?
What's that?
You never pay more than $20 for a video game.
Right. That's very cute. Yeah. That's
I like it. I like the close up at the end. I mean, how many times has it been memed and played upon? I mean, it's iconic, right?
It is, yeah, exactly. And this time, because I assumed that Past Me chose the you get 3 options for what Anna just brought up, and so this time I didn't choose the $20 option, and I chose like let's say like the satisfying answer, like the storybook answer or whatever. And then Elena's like, that sounds like something my husband would say, and it's quite. I'm repeating that because I assume just a lot of people didn't click that option.
Right.
So that's what happens if you click the normal ending option, and Guybrush gives a look, and so that's the end of the game.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm gonna run us through some behind the scenes facts real quick. So, Scum Engine facts, not interesting. Skipping that. Playtesting emphasis. This game had extensive testing, which it gives credit to the puzzles, because again, playtesting wasn't super common back at this time yet. Beta testing was still just a new idea invented by Crazy Al Lowe. But this game had extensive testing, and that definitely shows. That's right. The pirate literature thing was on Stranger Tides by Tim Powers, not Orson Scott Card, like I tried to push on him earlier. Sorry, Orson, who's definitely listening. Let's see. Early test influenced later iMuse systems. neat, not that neat. The multi-choice system added depth and replayability. I guess so. I don't know if that's credit really belongs here, but sure, why not? Artistic challenges, blah, 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 blah. Desiring Mark Ferrari, of course. And then, yeah, I mean, it's
And then the gradient. They have the gradients in the day switching or the sunset, sunrise kind of backgrounds in the EGA, but in the VGA, it was just they were saying they had enough graphics to be able to pull off having it all at night because night was when it was supposed
That's
to be.
That's crazy.
Thank you. Exactly. So in the EGA, the floppy release for the EGA version, they cut out some small details. Basically, like a lot of LeChuck lighting effects and stuff like that were missing in the floppy due to disk space. And the other thing that they decided just not to do at all as opposed to cut out was the VGA version, as Hannah touched on there. So in the EGA version, the sun sets as Act 1 goes along. Which is really, really cool. So, you start at like, sunset time, and then by the end of Act 1, it's nighttime. And in VGA, it's just nighttime the whole time. So that's the only notable, let's say, difference between the versions. Besides the art being, it's a very Loom-like scenario where the Loom art divides people, and it's so good in EGA, it's almost hard to root for the higher resolution VGA. And it's the same here. They're both just really, really good. I don't even know, where to pick one. I love how the sun sets as the day goes along because that was something I played around with in Phantom Fellows 2, where as the day goes on, the sun sets, and I don't think I noticed that when I played this EGA version before. Okay, run through the versions real quick and we'll get out of here. So there's the EGA and VGA versions, as we touched on. The CD-ROM version came out a little bit later. CD-ROM version, basically, they retooled. The CD-ROM version came out 2 years later. They did a lot of small things with dialogue to like help the flow. Some of the puzzle-related dialogue was phrased a little cleaner. Any time that they noticed that wording was giving players difficulties in solving puzzles, basically, they would kind of with a light touch change the wording around a little bit. A few bug fixes. They simplified some things, got rid of like any repetitive dialogues, and added a little like extra different thing to be said here, like acknowledgments that this was said already. Acknowledgments, if that makes sense, doesn't have to. And then the remaster came out in 2009, as we talked about. Remaster is very cool because you can press a key and switch between the original graphics and the new ones. And then the Ultimate Talkie Edition came out a year later, which merges the two. So there's that. Last 3 or 4 facts I got here. This was the last Lucasfilm game. The next one would have been Monkey Island 2, which became LucasArts. It's the first LucasArts game. Just obviously the branding in that sense. The sequel to this game was greenlit despite worse than Loom sales, as I've written it down. So the game was a slow burner. I mean, ultimately, it actually never sold that great, especially compared to how revered it is. Like it is, you would have expected crazy sales from this for how much people love it, but it actually never really truly sold that great, especially off the bat. Because I think Loom was disappointing sales-wise, and this actually did worse than Loom originally. But it was a slow burn. About a year or two later, it came good. What is selling good was a question that popped in my head at this point in research. So I did some digging and found that it wasn't digging. It was a really quick search. I did some digging, guys. Took me half the afternoon. But King's Quest V sold $500,000, made $500,000 lifetime, and Monkey Island 1 made $100,000 lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah, I still feel like that stat's wrong, but it was backed up by Retro Ahoy, so I think it's good, which is crazy.
That's a lot. Oh, I did mean to say, and I got this from, I think, one of the interviews somewhere, and probably something to do with Daniel, but the name came from an internal filing name system, guy.brush, and the suggestion of Threepwood came up by Dave Grossman. Awesome. That's right. I'm really glad you brought that stat. And Guy was a brush in, I forgot it wasn't Photoshop. It would have been, it doesn't matter. Whatever their art program was, they named their different brushes. And the brush file was .brush, and then the type of brush that Ferrari was using was called Guy. So the file was guy.brush, and they're like, let's go with Guy Brush. Yes. Right, and I think LeChuck, the villain, I think Ron or somebody didn't like somebody named Chuck. I think there was...
Nice. LeChuck's a great name. That's such a good... Yeah, so clever. And that's it. One last fun fact: the recipe for grog made it onto Argentinian news. They did a reporting on the dangers of making grog because it was going around. The recipe was going around Facebook at the time. And
go ahead. No, you have one.
The newscaster, like, he brings the recipe up on his screen and he like highlights like arson, carcinogen. He like highlights all the jokey ingredients, thinking that people would actually make this. Like, dude. Anyway.
No, that's it. You know what I said? I kind of want to check out the talkie version.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's really worth it, and it's not hard to make. And in the spirit of pirates, it's also not hard to find. Yar. Okay, let's.
Oh, and there's I don't know, is this true or not? I saw it in a random interview that they did with Ron Gilbert from years ago. But apparently there's an Easter egg. If you press certain keys during the credits, you get a fake coming soon teaser for a sequel about Guybrush as a desk worker.
Oh, cool. I didn't know.
But I've never seen it. I can't verify anything here. So.
Well, it's fun to spread rumors either way. So.
Everybody be looking for that.
Yeah.
BA start, left, right, up, down.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Okay, so we're all done, and Anna, you want to say our things? Before Anna says her things, if you've played Phantom Fellows, please leave a review. I would really appreciate that so much. I was supposed to say that with more, oomph and sales pitchiness.
Have you played the Phantom Fellows?
Right.
Have you missed putting a review out there? Even just 2 sentences, as long as they're positive, can boost up Google's visibility, games visibility, and post it up in the rating. So if you have an extra minute or two, put it in there, especially if you had a bit of fun playing the game.
Yes, please do. I'm struggling with reviews still. We've only got like 20 or something, and it's not...
25, but still not good enough.
Yeah, it's still way below the average par for indie adventure games for some reason. So this harassment will continue until numbers improve. Yeah, please leave a review, and thank you everybody that's played it and left reviews.
Yes, 100%. And also a big thank you to our friends on Patreon, Gareth, Mick, Michael Council, Brian Manown, Chapman Carruthers, Jay Holmes, Jeffrey Couch, Mark Fillion, Tim Ellis, and everybody else. Thank you so much for being a part of our show, and everybody else who contributes as well. Again, it continues to make a big difference for us. Hopefully we'll continue to sound better and get better production over as the years go on.
Yeah, somewhere around the 300th episode, we'll have it locked down.
We might, or this could be the cap, right? Or no cap. Am I allowed to say that? I don't think I'm allowed to say that. Right. So anyways, yes, thank you to all of you. We really appreciate it. And,
I didn't mean to sound so serious with that. No, absolutely.
No.
You brought shame to the family.
To the podcast, and the family. To the podcast, to the Classic Gamers Guild family.
I'm only saying no because I'm still not clear what it means. So that's the only reason.
It's understandable. So if you like what we say, or I guess if you don't, but not really, say hi.
They wouldn't
I
be
guess.
Here. Yeah. We're deep in this episode. Anyone listening now is a champion. Yeah.
You're in. Oh, and also not on that part of Patreon, but I want to say a big thank you to Jess Lay, who sent me out an Australian box of goodies.
Love Jess.
And all sorts of amazement. And thank you. It's very considerate. Thank you so much for thinking about me. I've almost eaten it all.
Is it Lay? I've always said lie.
It could be.
Oh, okay. We don't know.
Oh, it's Lay. I mean, I say Lay.
It's Lay because you say it's Lay, or is
I don't know. Now I'm going to get in trouble somehow or another, I'm sure.
Anyway, thanks, Jess.
No.
Love you.
Yes, we do. We love you very much. So say hi on Twitter at CGG Podcast, at The Phantom Fellows. Check out thephantomfellows.com if you want to get the soundtrack and any behind-the-scenes stuff, or a walkthrough, or anything extra you need for the game. Or a press pack, because you might need one. I don't know why, but it's there, so for sure you can get it. Mail at cggpodcast.com. Patreon, of course, as I said, is Classic Gamers Guild. We're on Facebook, we're a page, we're a group, we're on Instagram, and we are on YouTube.
Yes, the end. That's all. That's all. So thanks for listening. Don't do murder. Chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself.